before to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, deal ends June 14th. Join now, online or at your local PF Club.
See Home Club for details.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now they are offering huge, and I mean huge discounts at Koppel. Get over $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing on select Sierras or Silverados. Plus, Costco members receive another $1,000 off. Yes, that's happening right now in Louisville. $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing. You pick what works for you. Costco members, please contact us at the store or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into the Don't Punt Hour. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, come pick weeknights. We got the host, as always, Morning Pierson-El, joining us through the stream. If you guys want to give your opinion, 402-464-568. The text line. We got Royals on the FM airwaves. So again, if you're listening, you're already on the streams. But if your friends and family are trying to find the show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 961 as always. And without further ado, let's bring him in here. Good morning, Pierson-El. How you doing on this absolutely steaming Tuesday? It's been a warm one.
Doing fine, just enjoying it.
Enjoying it? How? You got a water park?
I like the heat. I don't like the cold, so I don't mind the heat. So I'll take that over Nebraska winter any day. People were complaining about being outside and when's the weather going to change. Now the weather's changing, and people mad and upset. So I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I like the heat.
It's calling out the state of Nebraska. Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll take the cold any day over this. This is
no.
My dogs can't even make it, man. I get halfway around the block and I think my dog's about to die. It's brutal out there in this type of heat. With that being said, we are not going to talk about the weather for an hour. I want to talk about some college football. EA Sports in particular, great game coming out with college football. They gave you a list. Yeah, it took long enough. First of all, since we're on it, you played the old ones, correct?
Yes.
What was the team you would build back to greatness? Are you just doing one-offs, randoms? How did you play EA college football?
I had like 3 different profiles. So I mean, I'd be a quarterback, I'd be a DB, and a receiver. So I mean, it depends. Whoever like the top schools or whatever, like I always went with like a lower school just to beat them. So I mean, I really didn't pick and choose like, oh, I wanted to go here or go there or whatnot.
I was always I can't count how many championships, but it's more than Osborne. I did well for the University of Nebraska. It was quite a run we were on. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a reason to be excited for that game for obvious reasons. I don't know what it is about Madden, but they don't really give you a lot of options. And that was the beauty of those games back in the day. Like you would go each player, it'd give you all their stats. It'd give you all the offensive playbooks you can pick from. You could start your own franchise. You could pick the city. It gave you so many options for just customizing how you want to play it. And then as it got towards the more modern games, they got rid of a lot of the small stuff. I think they're bringing that back. And one of the things out of all the things they look at when they're putting this game together is the toughest places to play for those road environments. And we're going to go through this list here and see if we agree, see if we can slide some people in here who we think should be on that list. I'll let you guess right now. Is Nebraska top 25?
I would think so.
Didn't make the cut.
That's crazy.
Is it though? I had this argument, and this is coming from a Nebraska fan.
A hostile place to play?
Tough environment.
Yes.
Is it a tough environment? If we're just being honest, if everybody's walking out of there with a win these days, that's the reality of it. That's why
I've played in both, so I've been a part of those games. The Miami in 2014, Wisconsin 2015, Oregon 2016, to where that place was rocking. Like, it wasn't a easy place to play. So I mean, I get maybe why, but you can ask any athlete in the Big Ten in the past 10 years, past 5 years, 6 years. An exciting place. And if everything is going, I was a part of, the Michigan State game where B. Riley, ruined their whole season with Connor Cook and everything like that. Those games that wasn't a pushover game or anything like that. So speaking from experience of seeing both, I think so. It's right up there with some of the loudest places and whatnot. Now, maybe they have to be, nice right now because, we haven't had too much of a winning streak. But get back on a winning streak. I think some of those fans will let you have it.
Yeah, that's the best part of being Nebraska fans is I think right now the world looks at us like, you know what, we're pretty nice fan base. We're very calm. We don't try to hype anything up.
Just win 8 games and once you see the fury and wrath come out, we've been on the opposite end so long. So you may think it's sweet. It ain't.
It's about to be a Twitter takeover once this team starts winning games.
I'm trying to tell you.
It's been a losing program, and it's still a Twitter takeover. As much as I love the Nebraska uniforms, every time they do that social media, best uniforms in college football, Nebraska is always a runner-up Final Four at the very least because that's how rabid the fan base is. Winning or losing, they'll be there. We're going to go through this list, though, and right away I have problems with number one. Number one is Kyle Field, Texas A&M. That is what they consider the toughest environment to play. Do you agree?
Not at number one. I think Death Valley. I think LSU is number one. You play a nighttime game at LSU and don't let you be a rival. Alabama, Georgia, Florida. Oh my good. Ole Miss. Oh my goodness.
I like LSU at number one as well, and they do have them respectfully 3. So number 3 is LSU Tiger Stadium. 2, kind of surprising. I get where they're coming from. They have Bryant Stadium, Alabama, number 2.
Saban's gone. No. No. I'm taking real tangibles. No. Like, can it be a hard place? If Saban's there and everything like that, yes. It's a lot more taunting and whatnot. He's gone? No. It's not, the wall, the Trojan horse is at his door.
All right. What's the first?
They'll still be top 5. I just don't think I don't think 2. I think A&M could be a 2, honestly, because they get a little hectic down there. And they've been, subtly – they haven't been terrible.
Yeah, A&M's like, again, it belongs on the list. I'm not saying it's not a tough place to play. It's just, obviously for Texas A&M, I don't want to give them number 1 spot. They didn't get it in baseball last night, though, so that's definitely a start. Obviously, Tennessee. What's that?
I said, you see what happened with their coach.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Back to the list.
Maybe that's a Patreon episode. I don't know how we get that one up, but all right. Can you guess the first Big Ten team? They slide in at number 4.
It'll either be Penn State or Ohio State.
Ohio State, number 4. Ohio Stadium, great name for it. Ohio State, number 5. You're back down in the SEC. This one makes sense as well. I don't got any problems with it. Most of the tweaking I do is minor. Who do you have?
Florida.
Georgia. I got Georgia.
Okay. I mean, they've been winning. Okay, that's acceptable. That's fair.
Going through this list, it seems like that's a real mark of, is it a tough place to play? And I think that's how Nebraska got left off. I think that win-loss ratio
matters.
Yeah, I think they looked at that a lot and deciding these places. So it makes sense. Stanford Stadium, obviously Georgia. This one, you get your next Big Ten team. I like it. Beaver Stadium, Penn State. Number 7, I got problems. And I'm curious, I want your thoughts. And I want you, since we have Ohio State, we're going to have Penn State, number 7, Camp Randall, Wisconsin gets 7. That one is weird for me.
Really?
I get it.
You haven't been to a Camp Randall game, huh?
No. Is it that good, huh?
Then go to one.
Well, I was thinking we're doing this based off the win-loss. And Wisconsin won a lot more than Nebraska, but I wouldn't think it'd be that high up there based on how they've been doing.
Maybe not necessarily in the last 2 years, but Camp Randall gets rowdy, and I'm fine with where they're at. that's a fun place to play.
All right, we'll get through the top 10 here, and then we'll just kind of ask you about these Big Ten teams in particular if you want to switch any of them up, since you actually have experience playing there. So like I said, 6, Beaver Stadium, Penn State, 7, Camp Randall, Wisconsin, 8, Gaylord Family, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. That one's a mouthful, obviously Oklahoma. And then you have Doak Campbell Stadium at 9, Florida State, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium 10. Florida makes the cut at number 10.
They got one ACC school or 2 ACC schools?
Let's look here. They have Florida State. Yeah, just Florida State.
Wow.
Just one.
Yikes.
And then 11 would be former Pac-12, now Big Ten. You get Oregon. Then you do get to 12. You get Memorial Stadium, Clemson. And then 13, Neyland Stadium, Tennessee. 14, Auburn. 15, South Carolina.
Okay. That's one ACC school is crazy. I definitely think Clemson, regardless of what they have been the past couple of years, I think they have earned a spot for the players that have come there, for what they've done, over the past 5-6 years. So I think they should, be somewhere up there. If Florida could win, probably if Florida was a little bit more successful, I think, they could crack probably the top 5, honestly, because I've heard stories about the Swamp. And I remember
watch Swamp Kings on Netflix.
I know. I remember. Percy Harvin is from Southern Virginia. Joe Hayden is 25 minutes across the bridge. So I mean, I grew up kind of knowing about those players and whatnot. So there were a lot of big Florida fans in the area because of those athletes and whatnot. So I remember Florida getting rowdy and those type of games and everything like that. So I get it. They haven't been as successful as what they used to be, but I mean, they still make the top 10.
Yeah, that's one. You can just kind of look at even the Nebraska rivalries, and that one makes sense. You've seen what that looks like when that place is popping off. It definitely belongs in there, top 20 for sure. You can maybe even squeak them in fringe top 10. But yeah, let's go through these Big Ten teams. So Ohio State being the quote unquote toughest place to play at number 4 when it comes to the Big Ten. Do you agree with that one, or do you think there's another team that belongs?
I would agree that their fans are ruthless. They have a wet campus, so when drinks are flowing, they're right there on you, and they're hecklers. It's annoying. You want to go up there and snatch somebody out of the stand seats. You get into it bad, but it's a fun environment. They have a nice environment. You have to go there and play. Hopefully, it's better than the times that I've been there, but it's not easy.
All right. And then I take it, I think Penn State's good coming in right after it, or would you put Camp Randall, Wisconsin above it?
No, I'll go Penn State too.
Yeah, Penn State, the whiteout, it's always insane. One team that's interesting, Michigan all the way down at 16 for the Brick House. What's that environment like when you go over to play in Michigan?
That is the only stadium that I have not played. I've played all Big Ten teams but Michigan. So I've heard stories about it. I've seen what it looks like. It looks rowdy, especially these past couple of years with them being a lot better and actually beating Ohio State. I never got to experience it though, but everybody that I've heard that's played there, they was it's not as loud as you think. It's big, they got a lot of fans and everything like that, but it's not as loud as you think it might get. So I think they're definitely top 5 in the Big Ten, but it's not anything that from what people have told me that it's anything crazy.
All right, now this is where maybe this will piss people off. This is where we get towards the more bottom of this list. And Nebraska, again, they're not listed in this, and this is why I might raise eyebrows. You get down to get back to the Big Ten team. So the last one you leave off with is going to be number 7, Wisconsin. And then you don't get to another Big Ten team till Michigan, 16. And then it's not until Kinnick Stadium, 20, you get Iowa, no Nebraska. And then even after that, at 22, Spartan Stadium, Michigan State makes the top 25. That one to me seems egregious because if you want to talk about wins and losses, then it definitely seems like Nebraska is over.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Iowa Stadium, it did get rowdy. It's always, a brutal match between us. I still think our stadium has them regardless of wins or not. I just think, our atmosphere is completely different. So can't believe that we're not up there, over them. Michigan State is small. I've played there. Like, it's not anything crazy. The last time that they were good with Connor Cook and them, but we played them at Nebraska. The last time we played somebody good, that's when they had, the no-fly zone there and there, where they were really, really good. So I still think, we got them. So I don't agree with that. That's crazy.
Yeah, they should not be there. I hate to that's, you can call it bias bleeding through, but at some point you can make the argument about what the consecutive sellout thing even is anymore. But you can just look at the pictures. For the most part, Nebraska still fills up like crazy. It's surrounded. It makes just this funnel of noise that can't escape. I mean, it gets rowdy in there. You've been to a Husker football game. I'd imagine it's got to be louder than the woodshed.
I will put our stadium at number 3 in the Big Ten, and then Camp Randall will go right after us. You come to Nebraska and play a night game and let it be, a Big Ten rival or a team that we necessarily, don't like or whatnot. That atmosphere turns into a different place. It literally might become your worst nightmare. So that's I think they're looking at statistical the wins and losses, and I don't think you can put that in there. Like, you actually got to go and see some of these primetime games to kind of get the feeling. I remember Brad Kaya, 2014, Miami. He said his whole face mask was rattling. I was on the field, and Kenny wasn't even 5 yards away from me, and I couldn't hear what he was saying to me. So that was, absolutely one of the loudest places, one of the loudest times. 2015, where Jano broke the fullback dive for 50 yards. Mm-hmm. Memorial went off. So I'm like y'all have to come for certain games that, get the fans, really involved. The Colorado game, that to reevaluate this college, game or assessment, come during that game and watch how, the stadium takes off. I guarantee you it's not what you think it is.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was immediately what I was thinking. I'm sure the people who made this list are listening right now. Come down for the Colorado night game and see if that makes you reevaluate the list. Completely different. It's insanity. And the other thing that surprises me with this list is how we didn't. I mean, just look at how Nebraska travels, and to assume it's not like that at the home games is crazy. I mean, Nebraska is known for taking over stadiums.
Period.
Way out. Doesn't matter where. We'll take over.
I remember when we went to Oregon, like, it was more red in the stands than neon.
We had, you remember how many fans went out there to Ireland? We're going across oceans to watch this damn team. Come on. This is a top 25 place to play. It has to be. If they're going to go that far just to watch their team.
What is the criteria? What is the criteria for it to be a hostile environment?
I think I go off of decibels. Like, what's your peak decibel? Like, what's the max volume you've gotten since the timestamp of starting this list? Average attendance. And you probably do factor in win-loss somewhat. I'd put it pretty minor, though. But to me, it's attendance. What's your breaking point decibel-wise if you got that information? And then the traditions around it. Is it an all-day event? Does the whole city come out? Like Lincoln, it's an all-day event. Even if you're not around Memorial Stadium, there is no chance you will forget there was a football game that day. You go to some of these other places, if you're away from the football stadium, you might not just see waves of fans. In Lincoln, you can't escape it. It's game day everywhere. So that's why I'm, again, a little bit shocked. I can see why, but they're definitely a top 25.
Easily.
What would be your criteria if you had to make this list?
Definitely how loud it gets. I think how well your team does perform. Like how often are you winning on your home, field advantage does take a piece into it, but I don't think that's the end all be all makes it or not. I definitely think how disruptive, how are the fans necessarily, like how do they interact with the team and whatnot. Some stadiums the fans are like right on you,
Yeah, that's a good
right
point.
on your back and whatnot. Our fans are kind of farther off, and you still feel it. They're further away, but you still feel the intensity, of things and whatnot. And like I said, I think this year definitely is going to be different. We have, a top 5 defense, and our defense isn't the reason, why I would say we would lose games. So with that being said and everything like that, us regardless, like our fans go crazy for the defense. They love the offense and everything like that, but they're a defense type of thing. So I think definitely how the fans get behind you and whatnot, like what you can expect and whatnot, definitely has to play a part into it. And you have to kind of go around and ask the actual players that have played to kind of give more of an insight feedback on things. It can't just be off of what you think. And I'm pretty sure that they didn't ask, or take any surveys or around, the whole NCAA to see kind of what people would say.
That'd be a good way to do it. Is you give everybody who's agreed to be part of that game, the players, you give them all a list. What was give me your top 5 toughest places to play that you had to play personally. And then you take that information and then you average that out. And then make it not the deciding factor, but a big chunk of what you're actually putting into it.
I would say that between that and, the winning and losses at homes, like those are probably kind of neck and neck, and that kind of like, would average certain stuff out. But if you see more people are saying, no, this place, like clearly, it is what it is. And if you watch the games, some things might unfold and you'd be like, that's not really on, the plays. That just happens, bad play.
Yep. And whatever the algorithm was, it didn't favor Nebraska. That part's clear. If it favors, again, I was fine with this list until I got to the woodshed. That's kind of was my breaking point. I'm like, okay, what is this list even about anymore? Again, Michigan State, good school, fine stadium, nothing wrong with the stadium and all, but to say that's a tougher place to play than Nebraska just seems off.
You just threw a list together. You just you threw a dart in the dark.
Well, dart in the dark that didn't land on Nebraska, that's for sure. We'll throw it to break here. Don't Punt Hour with Des Moines Pierson-El. We just went through EA's top 25 toughest places to play in college football. On the other side, I want to talk about the blue chip ratio. You've probably heard it before. It's how many blue chip athletes you have on your roster. And if you want to go by the numbers, you need to hit a certain threshold if you have any hopes at all about winning the whole thing. And that is what we'll talk about next. The blue chip ratio, Don't Punt Hour, Des Moines Pierson-El. As always, we'll talk to you guys in just a little bit.
Hey, kids, what are you getting your ever-loving dad for Father's Day?
I know, a motorized monster truck. How about the new Taylor Swift album? You would love it.
Yeah, I'm sure. How about something from Osted's Golf? Name brand apparel up to 50% off. Strixon balls at crazy deals. And Dad's always loving Osted's gift card.
You have been putting a lot of balls in the water.
Not after my custom fitting. I'm smashing everything.
You could do that with a monster truck.
Shop Osted's Golf for Father's Day.
The Osted family would really appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
By now, most of you know how important the Honda of Lincoln sales and service team are to the Lincoln market. Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear from Honda of Lincoln to tell you about the great news they just received. Andy, please tell us all about it.
Each year, the Lincoln Journal-Star has an award program called the Lincoln Choice Award, where the customers in Lincoln get to choose the best places to do business. Great pleasure I get to announce that Honda of Lincoln has won the award for buying new cars, used cars, automotive repair, and even oil changes.
That is amazing, Andy. Any more good news?
Yes, there is, Charlie. We now have more than 100 new Hondas in stock, with hundreds on the way, and a huge selection of all makes and models on our pre-owned lot.
Incredible. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
The 31st Annual Testicle Festival, Saturday, June 15th at Round the Bend Steakhouse, just off I-80, exit 426. Swing out 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. for music, fireworks, and, of course, nuts. Visit roundthebendsteakhouse.com for more.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Haviland. This week's special through June 11th is buy 3 ribeyes, get 1 ribeye free. Also, $1 off all brands of crackers. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives. You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solutions. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Network Partners in Lincoln reminds us throughout the history of our country, our armed forces have risked their lives to protect our freedom. They and their families have sacrificed so we can live in peace, and not just us, but our children and grandchildren as well. Let's thank our troops and veterans and keep them in our prayers. May our troops be safe and may God bless America. This from Network Partners in Lincoln. We live in the land of the free, thanks to the brave.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Demorne Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, if you guys want to join in, you can join in on the streams. It's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961. And on the other side, I was talking about the blue chip ratio. And to make it really easy, because it really is not too hard to understand, blue chip player is a 4 or 5 star recruit. How many of those players make up your roster? That's the ratio. And why this is always talked about and why it's always brought up is because there seems to be a certain number of a blue chip, and you need to be over at least 50% if you want to win the title. 2023 was a bit of an oddity with Michigan. They were a 54% blue chip ratio. 2022 was Georgia with 77. 2021, Georgia with 80%. 2020, Alabama with 83. 19 was LSU with 64%. 2018 was Clemson. They were at 68. And then we'll keep going through. I'll stop dropping the teams. 80%, and then you 52%, 77%, 68%, 53%, 71%, and again, Alabama 2011, 71%. So the blue chip ratio, DeMaurice Pierson-El, how much should we really look into that? Because you look at all the champions, they're at least over 50%. A majority of them are 70% plus. Do you need 4 and 5 stars to win a championship? And I got Nebraska's numbers too, so we can talk about that.
Yes, I'm not saying it's an end all be all thing, but you got those. You got the university that you just listed off. You know, they are putting out first rounders. They're winning a national championship. They're giving your best chances to go to the league. So it's easier for them to attract and get more dudes, of that caliber, just because they know within a year or two, all right, it'll be my turn, and I'm in and out the door. There's a formula, to get to the next level, to be drafted high, and with those things and whatnot. So I don't think it's necessarily it's a must, because even the LSU team, like if you go back and look at that roster, they probably had some guys and everything like that, but the year or 2 years prior, they were a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You get a new coach there who changes the culture around and gets the players to play, then everything runs smoothly and everything like that. And even the year after they had 4 and 5 stars on the team and the coach lost his job.
Yeah.
So no, numbers lie. It's not all about that. I don't think so. Does it help you? Will it help your cause? Yes, it will. But is it all about that? I don't think so.
It almost feels more like the reward of you broke through once and now you're this engine. And like you said, it's the Georgias, the Alabamas, it's the teams that have broke through, and that is almost the reward of being that engine to the NFL. Because now all the 4 and 5 stars are probably going to want to go to your school because you have an outline that works. You look at the way to do it, break in there, is you need to have that transcendent quarterback. Luckily, if you're in Nebraska's case, maybe that's what we have, maybe we don't, but at least there's potential for it. And I feel like that's kind of how you start to break into that territory. You get a transcendent player. In Michigan's case, it was really just that offensive line and run game, wasn't necessarily the quarterback. Now, they did have an NFL caliber quarterback in there, but still, you got to win, break through, and then it feels like you can hover above that 50%.
Go look at Florida State. Florida State went undefeated and still didn't even get an opportunity, to play. Let's see how many, 5-star or 4 or 5, whatever, players you're going to have necessarily on that team.
Yeah, I'm not sure what theirs is.
Huh?
Yeah, I'd have to find theirs during the break here. But it definitely matters. Coaching plays a it does not make up for the coaches. You definitely need to have all that there. Just because you have we've seen that with some teams when they were bought every player, in particular one school I can name.
A&M.
Yeah, and how'd that work out? It didn't. It didn't work out. Mm-hmm.
So like I said, you can get the numbers to tell you any story that you want to believe in. I don't think it's necessarily that, the whole time. For instance, go look at when Bo was here. Go look at his record. He was winning 9 games a year. How many 4 and 5 stars did he have on the roster? Within his first 3 years, he was 1 game away from going to a national championship. How many 4 or 5 stars were on that roster? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's all we got, the best kids that can do this all the time and everything like that. No, you get a good group. Go look at Iowa. Iowa's been sustainable. They haven't had their team definitely don't have 4 and 5 stars throughout the whole, throughout their whole roster, and they still win 9-10 games. They're competing for Big Ten championships and some of these bigger bowl games. It maybe not the national championship. Yeah, you look at some of those teams. It's a little bit different, kind of like you might have just hit, a good 3 or 4 years to where, okay, y'all recruited the area well, y'all recruited what y'all wanted, y'all got, a couple guys coming through, and it just, it was your turn for things. So I don't think that's what you necessarily have to have in order to win. And we've seen that with Michigan.
Yep. And talking about Iowa, their blue chip ratio is 23%. And I don't think it's ever been that crazy high before. So again, they win 9 games. They're typically, I think their over-under was pretty generous too this year for Iowa. There's definitely a way to do it. And that's kind of the system of Iowa, the coaching within it. If the coaching's good enough, you don't necessarily need a bunch of blue chip guys to win a bunch of games. You have a system that works. That is Iowa in a nutshell. What's your guess on what Nebraska is sitting at currently? Because it's interesting because this is off of On 3, and they're also a preseason top 25 team, but they do
I'll probably say no less than 35%, and it's not over 45%.
It's a lot lower than that even. It's currently Nebraska sitting at only 17% on the blue chip ratio. Now, why it's interesting is because you go through the top 25, Nebraska sticks out like a sore thumb for that one reason. And again, this is, if you want to put a bunch of weight into the blue chip ratio, you can, but we've seen it before. It's not conducive to necessarily winning. But at number 1, you're obviously sitting there with Georgia. 82% of their players consider them blue chip. Then you get down to number 24. Nebraska, the lowest out of everybody in the top 25 for the blue chip, quote unquote, ratio at 17.24%. Kentucky at 25, below us, is at 28%. And Mississippi State outside looking in 20%. Does that bring any fears at all that this team might not have the talent to be a top 25 team this upcoming year?
Talent, you can be the most talented person in the world, but if you're not coachable, you're not reliable, dependable, and can do your job and know your job, what do it matter? That goes out the window with somebody who is coachable, who is reliable, responsible, dependable, and whatnot, and everything like that. It just depends on what the right system is. So no, that doesn't worry me, because you've put a coach in a place to where it wasn't much attention. What I mean by that is, the coach being responsible to the players, making sure that they're heard, they're understood, and holding them to a different standard, pushing them when they do good, when they do bad, and everything like that. We haven't been far off on some things. Like I said, I mean, the turnover margin got us blown out. Like, even if you minimize to 2 turnovers a game or 1.5 turnovers a game, that our season looks completely different. So, I mean, they're right there. They're right knocking on the door with, turning the ball over crazy. So they've handled and adjusted things. They brought in, new pieces, on the offensive side, the coaching side, and, the player side and whatnot. So, I mean, you have a nice formula. You have, they've pivoted to go to a different direction with things and whatnot. It should look a lot better than what it did last year. And you got a strong defense coming back. That is a good recipe. That is a good recipe to have, on the outside looking in at Nebraska and everything like that. And I mean, the people know about the turnover problem. They know what we were facing at with, the quarterback stuff. They addressed it, and obviously they think highly of, of that room. And, as long as they do their part and handle, the transition from the high school level to the collegiate level, we'll be fine.
Yeah, my opinion doesn't vary very much at all with you. If there's one thing, if you want to try to be pessimistic about the only 17%, don't be. Think about how good that defense was. That number wasn't like it was significantly higher last year. I think it might have even been lower. That defense, they didn't care that they didn't have the quote-unquote blue chip ratio. That defense was incredible. It held on to some of the – you can put it up against some of these blue chip offenses. You look at Wisconsin, for instance, 36%. Nebraska could have won that game. Iowa, despite the blue chip ratio, Nebraska still great chance to go ahead and try to win that thing. The defense was there. What can beat these blue chip ratios is, again, the quarterback on top of it. Take care of the turnovers, good quarterback play with an elite defense. You don't necessarily need to have a bunch of 4 and 5 star guys to win games. So that's the hope with me. How good that defense is, eliminate turnovers. And again, if you're hoping Dylan Raiola lives up to everything he's supposed to be, then you feel pretty damn good about the season and you're not worried about it. Even
if it's a slow race, even if I'm not saying he starts off rocky, but it's not exactly like hopefully people don't think he's going to come out there and just be Mahomes. I hear the allegations and I hear all of that stuff. Don't get it twisted. You know, he's going to have a target on his back. Mm-hmm. People are going to be eyeing him and everything like that. So even if he starts off slow, as long as he doesn't turn over the ball and does what he's supposed to, you put points. Or if every drive he's out there, he comes off the field with either 6 points or getting us close enough to put 3 up there, we win if we're not turning the ball over. I'm not worried about the defense and whatnot. So just take care of what you're supposed to do. And each drive he comes off with a score, we'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the one thing, right? Like, even if, you know, like you said, Raiola, freshman, you can expect some errors.
Yes.
As long as it's not a litany, a mountain of turnovers, we would be fine. We'd be bowling a long time ago. But the problem is just been one turnover after another, and it feels like it's contagious with the team. This case, like, even if there's some growing pains, you still feel pretty damn good. Looking at the season, looking at the defense, looking about what the wide receiver talent you got out there, you have guys this year that feels like they can make a play when you need it, and you don't feel so. I think a big part of the turnover problem, too, is defense is pretty predictable on what Nebraska is going to try to do. And with that being said, it made those blocks hard. You're seeing the running back struggle to find holes. Everyone's trying to rip the ball out. Defense was reading run pretty quick, knowing what our quarterback situation looked like. So lots of reasons to be optimistic. Blue chip ratio, always interesting. It's worth looking at. It definitely has some relevance to it. But like I said, definitely not the end-all, be-all if you're going to have a winning season or not, or even make it to the college football playoffs. So that being said, though, we'll throw it to our last break here. Dumb Punt Hour. We got the host of Morning, Pierson-El, streaming in as always. If you guys want to join in, feel free to do so, but we'll throw the break. Talk to you guys in just a little bit.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, deal ends June 14th. Join now, online or at your local PF Club.
See Home Club for details.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now they are offering huge, and I mean huge discounts at Koppel. Get over $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing on select Sierras or Silverados. Plus, Costco members receive another $1,000 off. Yes, that's happening right now in Louisville. $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing. You pick what works for you. Costco members, please contact us at the store or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name.
Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Des Moines Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment, Don't Punt Hour. Host as always, Des Moines Pierson-El streaming in. As we wrap things up here, let's keep talking about stadiums. A little bit surprised this one went through. Out of all the franchises in a city that would vote to say no, win some games first, and maybe we'll think about giving you the money. Jacksonville Jaguars, they did it. They got a deal done. They're going to try to renovate a stadium for the Jaguars and redo the downtown surrounding area. Any surprises that the Jaguars able to get this thing pushed through?
I mean, that's that Florida money. They just paid the quarterback an arm and a leg, and you about to redo the stadium. I don't think their stadium is bad. I've been there, been inside of it. They got a pool on the upper level. It's a nice casual, stadium. It's probably one of the more unique ones, just because you got a swimming pool. Yeah. Upstairs. Good for them, I guess. If that's going to help you bring, more revenue to the city or whatnot, I don't think, downtown Duval is bad. Like I said, it's right there on the water. So, it's not anything crazy. I've seen worse stadiums.
Yeah, I'm sure the people don't mind the taxes already. Let's just add a few more dollars on it. It's not like it's expensive property already. It's, I get it. I get what they're trying to do. I've always been on this rant, so I'm not going to give it again. But $1.4 billion stadium renovation deal. The Jaguars announced hope to have it done by the 2028 season. So that's $1.4 billion. Not all of it's going to be coming out of the pockets of the people, but definitely a decent chunk of it to help pay for that thing.
My goodness.
It's always just crazy. I get it. The urge to be on top. You look at Chicago Bears. You look at what the Chargers just did. What the Rams just did with their stadium. Kansas City Chiefs are talking about renovating, and it feels like we get on the cycle. The Jaguars, and I'll say this again, people don't go to games unless you're winning. Like, what part of this? I don't like. As a businessman, would you like to make this deal knowing that this team rarely in its history wins you games? It's like the Browns thing. People don't like showing up to a team that sucks. They don't. It's hard to sell out stadiums.
I think their division is an interesting division. You want to kind of give it to the Texans, but a healthy Trevor Lawrence, and I think they got some good weapons down there. We'll see how their defense is. But that conference isn't terrible. They could win 9-10 games. Like I can see them winning 10 games. Like they're a good team. They just got to do it consistently. That's been the issue.
I like to throw the whole division in there. While we're calling out names here. Yeah, I will say though, you put them in a different division, maybe things look differently. Yeah, the Jaguars, if there's one thing, you sign your guy with Trevor Lawrence, at least you know what you're committed on. Money-wise, you're spending it like crazy. You're going to pay your quarterback.
Throwing it out like it's candy.
Yeah, so maybe, for Tepper and company, things aren't as bad as it seems. Despite the losses, the bank still rolls pretty well. But I thought that was interesting. I didn't think this thing would actually get passed through. But yes, Everbank Stadium, $1.4 million renovation. They will be the next one to the list as we continue to update these things. Northwestern football, as we're wrapping things up, they also put out another rendering. They're not quite done rendering what they want. This one looks a lot better than the last one I showed you.
Yeah, I actually seen it.
Big upgrade.
Your facility is kind of crazy.
It's small though. It's a lot smaller than it actually looks in the pictures. Which
I don't think any Power 5 has a dome. I know like the FCS schools, some of those schools have a dome. So I don't know if that's just kind of for more marketing stuff to come outside of just, Northwestern. But I mean, Chicago, the state is trying to build 2 new stadiums relatively close. Interesting to see, exactly what goes on, because I know the Bears are trying to get a new facility. And I mean, you got, the college, which, they're a private school. They make their own type of money and whatnot. So it'll be interesting with that. Anxious to see if that would change the college dynamic with bringing, more dome style places instead of the traditional just no ceilings, outdoor stadiums.
Yeah, I know one thing's for certain, and I agree with you there. But the Bears, man, the city of Chicago just needs to pay for the new stadium itself. The Bears stadium, you want to go to Soldier Field and all the wildness of that being a historical landmark. So the city of Chicago is just pocketing a lot of the money while the Bears team sit on a deal that they can't get out of. I can't remember. It was a crazy long deal. So now they're sitting there trying to finally get it done. And of course, the city of Chicago still doesn't want to work with them very well. Bears definitely need one. Soldier Field, I get what they tried to do and keeping the old integrity of the building, but you really just put a bunch of new crap on top of the old stuff. It looks terrible. They need to figure it out. I mean, what is your thoughts on the Bears Stadium? Before we get out here, I like that's real grass, but the current state, they need a new stadium, right? That team sticks out to me as an ugly, outdated one.
I don't think it's the worst in the NFL. Definitely, upgrades can definitely be with how they are changing places around, the league and everything like that, how things are just popping up bigger and better. Mm-hmm. They're definitely being left behind. Hopefully they get to keep the grass field. And I mean, it can, depending on if it is a dome built, I think that changes, whether or not the better of like your team playing.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think
you in a conference, or if you add a dome to it, 3 of your opponents have domes, and Lambeau's the only one that's outside. Which come December, January, football outside, that's a different type of football. It was the same thing with Minnesota. Minnesota been inside. Yeah. You it takes away the elements of it. So I mean, it's more entertainment wise, for the game and whatnot. So we'll see if they follow Detroit and follow Minnesota with building a dome, or leave it even and just have 2 and 2 stadiums outside, because like I said, it changes your game plan.
Yeah, that's one thing for Chicago as we wrap things up here. I hope if they do go through a new stadium, no dome. I like the no domes. NFC North, that's your staple. The cold. You got to wear it. But that being said, we'll wrap up here. Shout out to Morning Pierson-El. On time as always for the Don't Punt Hour. Don't go anywhere. What's Brewing? Chance of Brewington up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow.